Oh, hi, friends. I'm Dr. Barbie Wasson with River Point Family Acupuncture, and this is River Point's podcast where we get to the point on all things acupuncture, health, and vitality in the River Valley. If you feel like you're doing everything right and your body is still not cooperating with your weight loss efforts, then today you are exactly who I am talking to. Let's talk about that miserable experience of eating well, moving more, checking all your boxes, and watching the scale shrug its shoulders at you. I hear this all the time. People come in frustrated, confused, and honestly, a little betrayed by their own bodies. They'll say, I've cleaned up my diet, I'm exercising, I'm being good. Why is nothing happening? So first, if that's you, I want you to know you are not crazy and you're not broken and you are definitely not alone. Your body is not a calorie calculator on legs, despite what you've been told. It is a living system, constantly reading the environment you're creating for it. Food, sleep, movement, stress, recovery, history of dieting, and yes, hormones. It's taking all of that in and trying to make the safest choice based on the signals it's getting. If what your body hears all day is resources are scarce or stress is high, it will adapt by conserving energy. That might look like fatigue, strong cravings, plateaus despite all your efforts, low motivation, feeling cold all the time, brain fog, mood swings, or getting really hungry at night just when you thought you'd be done eating. That is not you failing. It is your physiology trying to keep you alive in a situation it doesn't fully trust. Now let's zoom in on a few big players. The first one is metabolic adaptation. This is not a fun one. If you've spent years crash dieting, chasing low-calorie plans, skipping meals when you're stressed, living on caffeine, and doing a lot of cardio with very little recovery, your body has gotten the message. We are under threat. We should be extremely efficient. You end up burning fewer calories doing the same things you used to. So yes, you can lose weight at first, then stall, and sometimes even regain weight on what looks like a very small amount of food. The instinct most of us have is, I guess I should do more and eat even less. Your body hears that as, so we're really in trouble, and doubles down. The second big player is muscle. You guys are going to get sick of me talking about muscle, I just know it. But in any case, I do talk about muscle a lot because it changes so many things. Muscle is not just about having a certain look. It's a metabolically active organ. It helps regulate blood sugar, improves insulin sensitivity, supports your joints and bones, and raises the amount of energy you use in a day. When your approach is mostly eat less and do more cardio, you can lose precious muscle along the way. And then you're lighter on the scale, but you're softer, weaker, and your engine is smaller and will use less fuel. That makes any future change so much harder. So if you've ever looked in the mirror after dieting and thought, I'm smaller, but I don't feel stronger and I don't feel healthier, that's muscle loss talking. This is why I care so much about strength training, protein, and recovery. They aren't the side notes here. They are the central thing you need to be doing. Now, let's talk about stress, because it is absolutely driving the bus for many people. High stress doesn't just live in your thoughts, it changes how you eat, how you sleep, how your body handles fuel. When you're stressed, you're more likely to crave sugar and comfort food. You stay up later, you wake up at 2 a.m., you retain more fluid, feel puffy, move less, and store more in the abdominal area than you would like. You can be eating cleaner than ever and still feel worse if your stress system is the loudest voice in the room. So, when you feel like you're doing everything right and your body isn't cooperating, half the time your body actually is cooperating with the stress signal and not with the plan you are forcing your body into. Hormones are of course, another layer here. They influence your hunger and fullness cues, how you respond to insulin, how your thyroid is running, what your cycles are doing, where your body prefers to store weight, and how much energy you actually have to work with. Things like insulin resistance, perimenopause, PCOS, thyroid issues, PMS-driven overeating, and sleep disruption are incredibly common and have a huge impact on how your body responds to any plan. So, if it feels like you're pushing a boulder uphill, it may be less about your willpower and more about your hormones needing attention. Digestion and inflammation are also in the mix here. If your gut is off, you're bloated, constipated, running to the bathroom, refluxy, or crashing after meals, the system is already under strain. Inflammation can make you retain more water, feel heavier, and make movement feel like slogging through the mud. Sometimes people are convinced they've rapidly gained fat, and when we really look at it, what they're seeing is fluid, digestive backlog, and inflammatory swelling. The scale doesn't separate those out for you, it just gives you one blunt number. Chinese medicine has been describing these patterns for a long time with different language. Instead of metabolic adaptation and insulin resistance, we talk about sluggish transformation of food into energy, damp accumulation, that sense of heaviness, puffiness, brain fog and bloat, stress disrupting smooth internal regulation, deficiency from long-term overwork and underrest, and disrupted rhythms in the body. The focus in that framework is not to beat the body into submission. By the way, that's never the focus. It's to restore function so the body can actually respond the way you want it to. That's the same philosophy I'm bringing into these conversations. How do we work with your system and not against it? So, where does acupuncture fit into all of this? Because, of course, we're always going to talk about acupuncture. While I do feel like my needles are magic wands, they are not the magic weight loss wands. I wish I could tap a point and say, okay, 8 pounds off, you're all done. But that is not how it works, and I think you guys know that. What it can do, though, is support the systems that make change possible and sustainable. In practice, that often feels like calming an overactive stress response, helping you sleep better, dialing down certain types of cravings, supporting digestion and bowel regularity, easing PMS and cycle-related symptoms, and lowering pain so movement feels more doable instead of punishing. When your body feels safer and more regulated, the good things you're doing, the food choices, the walks, the strength work, the earlier bedtime, actually have a chance to show up in your results. If you're listening and thinking, okay, but what do I do about this now? Here's where I'd start. Choose a few high-impact basics and do them consistently rather than trying to overhaul your entire life this week. Prioritize protein at each meal. Get some form of strength training in 2 to 4 times a week, even if it's just short and simple sessions at home. Walk every day. It doesn't have to be fancy. Protect your sleep as best you can. Step away from the cycle of constant crash diets and detoxes. Build real meals instead of grazing throughout the day. And if alcohol has crept up and your progress is stalled, take an honest look at that. And this is the big one. Treat stress management like a real to-do item and not something you'll get around to when everything else settles down. If your symptoms make you suspect hormones or thyroid are involved, that's your cue to get labs and proper evaluation instead of staying in guesswork mode. Most people don't need to be scolded into trying harder. They need a better map. They need someone to say, here's why your body is doing this. Here's what we can change. And no, you're not crazy for being tired of fighting with it. If you're eating well and still not losing weight, it does not mean you're broken or failing. It usually means there are important variables being missed and your body is stuck in adaptation mode instead of change mode. That's where I come in. At Riverpoint Family Acupuncture, I help patients look deeper at metabolism, stress, digestion, hormones, and habit patterns so results feel possible again without running themselves into the ground. If that sounds like the kind of support you've been missing, you are welcome to schedule an appointment or a free 15-minute consultation, and we can get to work figuring out what your body is really trying to tell you. With Wishes of Wellness, I am Dr. Barbie Wasson, your slightly nerdy, always on your side weight loss co-pilot, reminding you your body is not the enemy. It just needs a different conversation.